Anthony DiClementi with thehealthblueprint.com and your health and fat loss tip of the day. Today's question is, should I consume dairy? Is it something that's good for weight loss and optimal health, or is it something that's going to make me sick and overweight? One of the common arguments that's made by a lot of people following a traditional Paleolithic diet is that our genes haven't changed much over the last 10,000 or even 50,000 years, and for that reason we want to stay away from foods like dairy that did not exist back then. Now, there are some flaws with this argument because through the study of paleoanthropology and modern genetic science, we found that our genes actually have changed quite a bit over the last 10,000 years. And an example of this would be lactase tolerance. Now, while we haven't evolved to the point where we have 5 separate compartments in our stomach and enzymes that allow us to digest cellulose or a rumen that is required for many animals that survive on entirely plant-based diets, we have noticed some significant changes, particularly as they pertain to dairy digestion. Now, 10,000 years ago, after humans were weaned off of our mother's milk, we stopped producing the enzyme lactase, which is necessary to break down dairy. But what we've found by studying skeletal remains is that around 6,000 years ago, particularly in parts of Northern Europe, a number of peoples continued to produce the lactase enzyme even into adulthood. And this figure was around 25 to 30%. Now today, fast forward to today, and you look at some cultures in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and those numbers of people that are producing the enzyme lactase into adulthood can be as high as 95 or 100%. So this argument that our genes haven't changed at all over the last 10,000 or 50,000 years is a bit flawed. And there are many people today that can tolerate dairy just fine, and consuming the right types of dairy, which I'll explain in just a minute, can actually lead to improved health and improved body composition, improved weight loss. The key really is to find out if dairy is right for you. And the only way to do this, the most effective way that I recommend, is an elimination diet, where you basically cut dairy out for anywhere from at least 14 days up to 30 days, and you remove it entirely from your diet. And then you gradually reintroduce dairy and observe how your body responds, paying attention to mood, cognitive functions. Do you experience brain fog? Are you sharp? Do you feel like you're dealing with low energy, low mood, depression, joint pain? That can be also common. Dairy is one of the most common food allergens, along with wheat and gluten. So you really want to pay attention and do this elimination diet to assess whether or not dairy is right for you. If you do consume dairy, let's say that you find that you're able to tolerate it and you don't experience any of the unwanted side effects like I just mentioned, you want to make sure that your dairy comes from grass-fed cows. So a lot of the traditional dairy comes from confined animal feeding operations, where the cows are pumped up with hormones, antibiotics, vaccines, and chemicals that then make their way into the cow's milk and ultimately into us when we consume those dairy products. So you want to focus on high quality dairy from pastured, grass-fed cows. A great place to get this is US Wellness Meats. Their website is grasslandbeef.com. I'm not in any way affiliated with this company. I just love them, and I think that they produce a really good product, and I order from them every single week. So really, the answer to whether or not you should consume dairy and whether it's going to help you lose weight depends on whether or not you are able to tolerate dairy. And the best way to assess that is by doing an elimination diet from anywhere from 14 to 30 days, and then the type of dairy that you consume. So if you do find that you tolerate dairy, make sure that the only dairy that you're consuming is dairy that comes from grass-fed cows. So kefir, which you can find, Lifeway is a great brand that's available at most grocery stores. Their dairy comes entirely from grass-fed cows. I do believe Organic Valley is another brand that produces some creams and dairy products that come from grass-fed cows. And yeah, so that's it for today's health and fat loss tip. I'm Anthony DiClementi. For more information, visit us at thehealthblueprint.com. And if you want more information like this, I've got a bunch of it in the Social Life Fat Loss System. Check that out as well. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care.